I want to talk to you today about solving burnout. This is unique because this is actually the result of 13 years of travel, building businesses, of having a family. It's this technique that I've come across over the years. I wouldn't say that I came out with it. Actually, what I'll be talking about is how deeply ingrained naturally into us it is. But first, let's start with this. Here's a few things that I want. I want a thriving career. I want strong relationships, great health, time for hobbies, financial stability, and inner peace. It's exhausting. Most often what I'm describing, it shows up as obligations. I have to succeed at work or else I'll fail myself or my family. I have to work out or else I won't be attractive. I have to make time for my family or else I'm a bad adult. All of those things started out as things that we wanted, right? A family, a dream career, deep friendships, but then they became obligations. Trying to excel at everything at once, I realized it led to mediocrity in all of them. Life's too short. The moment that you focus on one thing, an unshakable guilt for not doing another thing rears its ugly head. The pursuit of having it all simultaneously leads to burnout, which made me question, what if I've been approaching life wrong? What if balance isn't about juggling all the balls? That there's a way to have it all, just not all at once. The secret lies in embracing seasons, focused periods of intensity, followed by deliberate shifts. Like nature itself, our lives need a rhythm, work and rest, doing and being, acceleration and recovery. This approach isn't about sacrifice. It's about sequence. Not limitation, but liberation. Let me show you how to stop drowning in overwhelm and start thriving through this kind of seasonal living. So this is the silent creep of stuff. I got back from Mexico last Saturday. I was there for 4 months with my family, and on Sunday, Allison and I cleaned the cupboards of our house. Being away made us look at our home with fresh eyes. What we saw was a whole lot of junk that no longer served us. Here's an incomplete list of what we threw out, recycled, or donated. 34 water bottles. Okay, I'm going to say it again. 34 water bottles. User manuals left behind by the previous owners of our house for appliances we no longer own. And an entire drawer full of used batteries and burned out light bulbs. In addition, I've delegated all of my social media in preparation for my third child, who's going to be due May 15th. I've left Toronto for 4 months every year for the last 13 years. The real reason isn't a chase for year-round sun. I do it because leaving and coming back marks a stop and a start. A change of seasons. And yeah, I know that seasons change in Toronto, but do you change your schedule with the changing seasons? You see, there's this broken ancestral rhythm that we all kind of fight against. There's a spot 20 minutes from where we live in Mexico. It's called Punta Monterrey. It's unique in that the entire bay is owned by the same family, and so they've built this little, eco resort. Alice and I love to go there. It's nothing fancy, but there's nothing to do there. And the reason that we love it is it resets our natural rhythms. There's no internet. There's nothing to do. The ocean laps back and forth, and the sun sets, and the stars come out, and it gets dark, and we go to bed. I don't like going there for just one night, because the first night always feels weird, awkward. We don't quite know what to do with ourselves, but then we settle into it. Allison brings some art or some knitting, I bring a few books, we play card games. There's no frenetic escape like reaching for a phone just to check in, flip on social media, whatever. After the initial kind of dopamine drop, right, we both feel our bodies completely relax, and it doesn't take long, 2 days or so. Our bodies respond almost immediately. That's because we're remembering something our ancestors never forgot. Before the light bulb was invented, it got dark, people stubbed their toe, and then they took their ass to bed. Spring, summer, and fall were more active times. You were hunting, you were gathering, whatever. And in the winter, people chilled out with their family, and I'm sure it was harsh, but it was natural. The light bulb and the clock forced natural time to surrender to artificial time. Every day the same, no stops, no starts, the same jobs year-round. Ignoring these seasonal rhythms our bodies crave. You see, in our pursuit of efficiency, we've become more machine, less human. It's mechanical, it's unnatural. No wonder we burn out. Gautier once said that wherever a man may happen to turn, whatever a man may undertake, he will always end up by returning to that path which nature has marked out for him. We're wired for the world we evolved in, how the world was, not how the world is. We're wired to have seasons. Stops. Starts. Periods of work, followed by periods of rest. Without contrast, we're blind. The dark is how we see the light. You see, each end, it's a new beginning, a time to review and reassess your priorities. Over the course of a season, we add but rarely subtract. We add tasks, commitments, responsibilities, meetings, even physical things. These additions are never ending unless we define an end. Like a spring cleaning, the start of a new season is a time to refresh, to subtract. Whenever I'd leave Toronto, I'd pack my backpack, I cleared my calendar, I tidy up my things, and I set off. Once it's time to return home, I go through the same process. This duality gives me an opportunity to do a reset, a spring cleaning of sorts with what I own, my calendar, and my commitments. You see, every time that I leave one place, I find myself excited for the next. If I'd felt burned out in Toronto before I left, I was excited to return. Not just excited to sleep in my bed again, but excited to reset my schedule, reprioritize my commitments, and start over. Renewal. The restoring of freshness. When something ends, even for a short period of time, and restarts, you feel invigorated, revitalized, excited. There's no limit for how often you can repeat the cycle. A new project at work, a weekend away from your family, the beginning of a baseball season, even if your team is perennially disappointed. There's this thing, it's called the Slinky Effect. And it's when absurdity becomes invisible. Let me tell you about it. It reminds me of the time when we got home after 4 months in Nicaragua and Mexico. The kids were playing, they were happy to see their toys again, and Alice and I went upstairs to put our backpacks down. We walked into our bedroom and we started laughing. Our bed has 4 pillars, okay? Over a year earlier, Calvin made this giant, spider web across the top of it with Allison's yarn. In the middle of the web, hanging down, I shit you not, was a slinky. That thing hung there for a year. My wife and I slept under a spider web that caught a slinky for over a year. It was cute when Calvin did that when he was 5. He'll be turning 7 in a week. Maybe it shouldn't be there anymore. It's easy to fall into patterns, to lazily accept even the silliest additions to our lives, to never ask whether something hurts us or helps us or takes up space or, in this case, makes any freaking sense, to keep things how they are because that's how they were. Let me ask you this. How much stuff in your home exists that any outsider would tell you needs to go? What about in your life? How many things are you currently doing that you don't need to do but have always done, so you blindly just keep doing it? What is it that in your life that's just there, that no longer needs to be there? I call this the Slinky Effect. When we get so used to the weird and silly things in our lives that we don't even notice them anymore. These slinkies accumulate in our careers, relationships, possessions, and daily routines until we live lives we never consciously chose. And that's the problem. In a modern world designed to distract us, we don't actively architect our lives. We default into them. The only way to break out of burnout is by reclaiming the seasonality. Ask not whether you should have seasons, but how to create them. Here's a few ideas. For parents with young children, try taking a micro-seasons approach. Test out 6 2-week cycles or maybe even 30 10-day sprints. For example, try dedicating 30 days to intensely focus on a career project while maintaining baseline parenting duties. Then shift focus to family enrichment for the next 10 days with special outings or quality time. You could also synchronize your seasons with your partner. Coordinate complementary seasons, where one takes on more household or childcare responsibilities, while the other intensifies focus on personal development or career advancement. This creates a fair rhythm where both parents get opportunities for focused growth. Just make sure that you also do a season focused on one another, of course. You could also do seasonal childcare investments. For a defined 8-12-week season, invest in additional childcare specifically allocated to your focused area. This temporary nature makes the expense more manageable, and the clear time boundary helps you manage guilt. 3 months of additional childcare might yield years of benefits from your focused progress. Here's some ideas for those with demanding careers. You could go with project-based seasons. Corporate professionals can align seasonal focus with natural business cycles. Schedule an intensive relationship or health season during quieter business periods, for example. Or take on a weekend intensity. Dedicate entire weekends to seasonal focus on a side hustle or relationship over the weekend in a concentrated time frame while maintaining career demands during weekdays. Or you could do vacation season intensives. Instead of taking a day off here and a day off there, batch your time off and take longer breaks for 1 to 2 weeks of complete immersion. Use that accumulated time off for transformation rather than relaxation, a fitness camp, a writing retreat, a relationship reconnection, creating compressed seasons of growth. And finally, some ideas for those with financial constraints. Look into investment seasons versus harvest seasons. Alternate between seasons that require financial investment like education or equipment or coaching and seasons focused on monetizing those investments. What this does is it creates a sustainable cycle where each investment season is funded by the previous harvest season. You could go about community-based season with others in similar situations to share resources during intensive seasons like childcare swaps or skill exchanges or accountability groups that multiply individual capacity without individual cost. Or bartering seasons dedicate a season to leverage what you already have to get what you need. Trade your existing skills, time, or assets for the resources necessary for your transformation. For example, offer social media management to a fitness coach in exchange for training. These seasonal approaches all share one powerful truth, which is that focused intensity beats scattered consistency. You see, by dedicating specific periods to different priorities, you make real progress instead of treading water in everything. You gotta find your rhythm. The specifics don't matter as much as the commitment to focus seasons. Whatever your circumstances, find the approach that works for you. The alternative, remaining perpetually scattered across all priorities, it guarantees stagnation. Heck, you could build in a seasonal rhythm by spending part of your day going fast. Crush a workout. Dive deep into your work, then spend the rest of your day going slow. Walk, read, get coffee with a friend. Just avoid the anxious middle, never fully on and never fully off. Stop chasing balance. Embrace these power of seasons. They're your escape from perpetual mediocrity, from stagnation, from burnout. The only way to live an extraordinary life is to surrender the need to be everything, everywhere, all at once. So take a moment to identify your first season and one priority to focus on. Then look around for the slinkies hanging in your life, those accumulated obligations that no longer serve you, and cut them shits down. Stop chasing balance. Embrace the power of seasons. As always, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this in the podcast, subscribe to the pod. Always happy to hear from you. Comments, emails, whatever. Thanks so much. Hope to talk soon.